everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Scare. I'm one of your hosts, Danny Royce. I'm joined here by my bro. What's up, Pauly?
What's going on, y'all?
Thank you so much for tuning in and joining your favorite scare experts as we dive into all things horror, jumping into our favorites, the new films, as well as the upcoming ones, and diving into our classics. You want to talk about scare? You want to talk about horror? You found the right podcast. Thank you for joining us. And first, we want to get into a new release, right? That came out last week. It's pretty new, and it's called Fear Street, the Prom Queen. So let's get into it.
Fear Street Prom Queen, it is the fourth film in the franchise. Basically, it's set in 1988. The plot focuses on a mass killer who targets the prom queen candidates of Shady Side High on the night of
Shade
their
side.
senior prom.
Mm.
Um, now, we have a lot to say about this particular film. But
Your,
before we dive
your
into that,
expression just really, your expression just really told everything.
before we dive into it, let's how about we talk about some standout performances.
Okay.
Um, eh, Danny, if I had to pick one standout performance, I guess it would be India Flower, the
Mm.
actress that plays Lori Granger. Um, she was very reminiscent of Carrie White. In Carrie, I felt
Yeah.
that I was getting a lot of those vibes from her. Um, and I feel like she did a good job, in leading the cast. But if I had to pick someone, I guess it would be her. What do you think?
Okay. I agree. I agree. India Flower would be this standout for sure. Not saying it's not saying a much, but definitely standout material. I was really excited to see Chris Klein. I haven't seen him on screen in such a long time. So, good old Oz from American Pie.
Right.
Uh, so it was interesting seeing him and it in an older role at that. Also, big shout out to our girl Lily Taylor that from The Haunting and many other things. But I love seeing her. I haven't seen her for forever. I think she's really an underrated actor. Um, she tears down every scene that she steps into. So, but yeah, I had to mention those two. But yeah, definitely India would be my favorite.
Yeah. And I feel like her role, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like this particular role that she had, what was she, the principal or something? I
She
can't
was a
remember.
principal, deranged principal with all, I don't know. We're gonna get
Yes,
into it, but
something weird. But I felt like her she didn't have a lot of standout moments. I don't know if you agree with
Mhm.
that. I feel like she was just kind of like just there in the background for like just a creepy effect because you never knew what was going on with her.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I agree with you. Like she's definitely had some like, iconic roles in horror, and
yeah.
it was good to see her because yeah, you're right. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it was great to see her. And you know what? I want to touch on that as well. I really felt like she was a wasted talent in the movie. They didn't use her as much as she can be used. Like she can dominate a scene, and it just seems like everything was flat. I don't really know what the purpose of her character was. Because I'm just like Lily is amazing. Why are we doing this to Lily? It didn't make sense to me, but yeah, I definitely agree what you just said.
So,
Like,
Danny, let's talk about the acting a little bit in this
yeah,
particular movie. Why don't you, talk about that and some of your takeaways, some of your critiques? Like, let's hear it.
yeah. It just wasn't given what it needed to give. Like I said, Lily's amazing, so she really is gonna be work with what she has. As far as India, I think she was believable. The other girls, like it was giving me Mean Girls. It was giving me, other movies that were mentioned in our classic segment, but um, nothing was nothing was like really blowing me away. It was just like mediocre, and the whole film was mediocre.
Yeah.
And it just everything lost me. I mean, you saw me. I was falling asleep in some of the scenes. It just wasn't. It wasn't captivating. The stakes weren't high enough. But I really do love how they use some of these nostalgic characters. You know, you have the it girl, and you have the one that doesn't really, stand in she's a standout, You have the the best friend that's like, is she gay or not? I don't know. But like it
Yeah.
had like all the nostalgic horror characters, but none of the actors quite fulfilled the role.
I agree. I agree. I feel like the film overall definitely fell short.
Yeah,
I feel like the acting just wasn't believable. Um, and it just didn't really do what it needed to do. I felt like the trailer hyped up the movie so much,
I really
and
did.
as you know, a trailer can do that. Just like make you so
Hmm.
excited to see a movie, and then you see it, and you're like, "Man, what happened?"
Right.
Um, and even so, I mean, let's talk about some of the kills in the movie. I felt like
Yeah.
even that fell short. There are no
Mhm.
real memorable kills. I mean, if I had to pick one, I would say it was the one in the classroom. I believe the character's name was Bobby, with
Mhm.
the what was that, a paper cutter or something
Yeah, the
like
paper
that.
cutter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like that was probably the most like the only one I was like, oh, like what I mean. There was no anticipation. Like there was no
There was
like
no build up,
yeah, there's no
nothing.
build up, none of that. It was just like, oh, there he is. Oh, you're dead. You know what I mean? It was just very like quick and like just like there was no suspense to it. It was just like, it,
Yeah,
you know,
it was, and some of the kills were like, reminiscent of other horror films, like in the car shop and stuff like that with Scream. And
right, right, right,
but it was some of the things that just didn't make sense. Like, what is he doing circling a yearbook and then it's not even in the school year? Like, prom hasn't even happened. Like, what? Who? Like, we don't even know who won prom yet. It was like it was just some random moments that just didn't quite make sense. The dance off. Let's talk about the dance off.
no, let's
What
not.
was that? What was that? It needs a little second because I need someone to explain to me what the hell they were picturing.
First of
What were
all,
you picturing?
right. First of all, the dance off was cringy as hell.
It was so
And
cringy.
second of all, there was no good transition. Tiffany, the one who played Tiffany, she like basically
Mhm.
gave this like monologue, but I guess like a Mean Girl Regina
Oh my
George
God, yeah.
monologue, and
Yeah.
that completely fell short. I was like, what? Like it wasn't believable at all. But then they segue to that into like this dance off, and I was
Right.
just like, was that really appropriate at that moment?
I didn't get it. I really didn't get it.
Right.
And like the best friend, what was her name? Um, Melissa, was it? Or
Oh,
Christy?
uh, Lori's best friend.
Yeah, Lori's best friend. I think it was one of those. But I think it was Christy, but she, kept, it was like an episode of Crying Wolf, like she just kept she was always joking around, but then that one time she was like, I'm serious, it's really happening and then the decapitation thing happens on the dance floor. It was just, uh, it just wasn't a good film. I want to talk about something that was amazing though in the film, the music. The music was great.
Yeah, I agree. I
Music was
agree.
great.
It was very like that nostalgic 1980s. Like, they had a
Yeah,
lot of good tunes on there. And then even like the original tracks, like, they had some like electronic stuff that I was just like, oh, I'm gonna
yeah,
Shazam this, and see what it
right.
is.
I was like, that this part is really amazing. I love the soundtrack.
Right.
But I want to also touch on like when you said the kills, there was no did you feel like there was like no fighting back? There was no survival instincts in these characters
Right.
whatsoever? Like every
Yeah.
so often we'll get a horror film, obviously you get the dumb one, trips and all this stuff, but like This, like, no one was just, they were just like laying there,
Yeah, just
kill
gave
me.
up. Right. Right, exactly. They just gave up and was like, all right, well, this is the end.
I was like, I like a little struggle. I like a little fight. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And to kind of go further with that, there was no like really good chase scene. There's always a
No,
good chase scene in like,
no.
a scary movie like, Gale and Scream was Scream
Yeah.
6. You know what I mean? Like, even in we're gonna talk about this, touching on this a little bit, but in our classics, there are some good chase scenes in there. There was just nothing
Oh,
in
yeah.
here. It was just like,
That
oh,
was
there he is,
nothing.
and oh, you're dead. I feel
And
like that's
dead.
like the
And
entire theme of the movie.
right. And then there's two killers. The killers turn out to be the dad and the mom, the crazy ass mom, and the self-loathing dad that's the PE teacher or whatever. But it did kind of throw me for a loop that the daughter was in on it when
Yeah.
she was in the closet. Yeah, that was a surprising aspect of the film. The only surprising aspect
Right.
because it was very predictable. But
Yeah, very
I
predictable. I
would,
feel like
what do you think about that moment?
yeah, I feel like we both called the killers like not immediately, but halfway through the movie, we were like, oh, it has to be this one, or you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
I agree, the kind of the Tiffany twist, if you want to call it that, I didn't see that coming at all until they're in the closet, and then like she started acting shady and stuff, and like that
Right.
look in her eye, I was like, oh, okay, this is it's a family affair, so to speak.
Right. It's a family affair, really.
Right.
Wow. So what do you think about it? Like, what's the overall, what would you give this film?
Oh
I
man.
mean,
So
I mean, being what it is, like Fear Street, the prior three, was
yeah.
amazing. R.L. Stein, we are both fans of the
Yes.
great
Yes.
R.L. Stein, incomparable.
Yes, yes. So R.L. Stein, um, the author of the Fear Street books. Also, if the viewers don't know, R.L. Stein did Goosebumps, which we are both huge fans of. They did film adaptations of those too, and even there's I think there's on Netflix. I think you can kind of view those, and if you haven't watched them or haven't read the books, please do. Phenomenal.
Yes.
Um,
Co-sign.
but I mean, the movie overall, it fell short for me. I mean, I'm kind of glad that it was the last, like I'm kind of glad that it was the last one. Not, I don't know if it's gonna be the last one, but you know what I mean. Like, I would definitely consider it the bottom of the,
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
tier, so to speak. And if we, if we look this in chronological order, so there's what 1970, there's 1978, I believe, right?
Hmm.
So there's 1978. This one is 1988, and
80
then there is what
and
was
84.
84? That one too. Yeah. So here we go. So there is okay. Part three. It looks like 1666.
Yeah, part three was
Right.
pretty
So
far.
that
Yeah.
would have been the first one, right? And then the second one is 1978. That's the one that we were talking about that we actually really enjoyed. It was
Yeah.
the camp one.
Yeah.
And
That one's
then
great.
this is, if you go in contract order, this is the third one. This happened third,
Yeah.
1988, and then the last one would be 1944. I mean, excuse me, 1994.
Yeah.
Um, so basically, yep, my favorite's the 1978 one. I feel like that one was really good.
Definitely.
Um, the kills were good. The chase scenes were good. Even the plot was good. The acting was good. And like Danny, like it's inevitable that it's going to be compared to the other movies, right?
Right.
So just overall, I give it a C minus. You know,
Mm.
average movie. That's why it's in the category. It's in the C. But I feel like it fell below average. So that's why I gave it a C minus.
Mm.
Just because it was just nothing really memorable for me.
Yeah.
There was literally nothing. Like if if someone said if I would meet this random person, we talk like movies and just new releases, horror movies, and they asked me what I thought of this movie, I'd be like, don't watch it. You know,
Oh yeah. Don't
it's
waste
just
your time.
yeah. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, like I said, it had very little great things about it that I want to say. I'm still getting on my girl Lily. I said, why y'all do her like that? Like she,
Yeah,
like what I'm saying, like she got too much talent for this movie. Um, but other than that, like yeah, I was gonna give it a C, but honestly, I think we're both being too lenient. Honestly, I don't even know if
we
Innocent
being too
Sleep Hour.
nice.
We're both being too nice.
Oh,
But hey, yeah, that's what I want to leave it at that. But if you're interested and you want to see Fear Street, for the Prom Queen, because it's very nostalgic. Go check it out. We don't recommend it, but go check it out anyway.
yeah. So Danny, do you have the any other ratings, or did you check Rotten Tomatoes? What they had to say?
Yeah, so Rotten Tomatoes actually gave it 27%,
Oof.
which is wild, and then 5.2 out of 10 on IMDb. So, they said 39% of people may like this, and that's a may like this movie.
I mean,
So
looks like
your
we all
AI is telling you that, don't waste your time.
looks like we all have the same sentiment, then, right?
Right. But I don't want to waste time on our next segment because I love this part of our episode where we dive deep into our classics.
Yes.
And so we like to stay on the theme of the episode. And the theme, obviously, is prom night, those or horror and nostalgic slashers. I am going for my movie is Prom Night, the
Woo.
original in 1980. Woo! Yeah.
Classic.
All right. Very much a classic. And it, like I said, came out in 1980. The slasher movie, it follows a relentless killer who is out to avenge the death of a young girl who died after being bullied and teased by four of her classmates. And now, high school students, the guilt ridden kids, have kept their involvement a secret. But when they start being murdered one by one, it's clear that someone knows the truth. Also coping with the past are members of the dead girl's family, most notably her prom queen sister, Kim Hammond, played by the incomparable Jamie Lee Curtis, Scream Queen. So yeah, directed by Paul Lynch. It's so good. It's so good. It's just an hour and a half of just amazingness. I believe first time I ever seen it was with you. We watched it so many times together. It's just a very classic uh, chasing horror slasher. Great moments. The acting was believable. Everything about it's just super great. It set the trend for those types of films. And that year, I mean, Jamie was working. Okay, she was what night
Like
Terror Train came out that year. The next year, Halloween 2 would come out. I mean, she was just chased and screaming all over the place. What do you think about Prom Night being the classic today?
Yeah, I think that was a great choice, Danny. Prom Night is such a good slasher flick. And probably what I enjoy most about it is that element of like stalking and kind of like
Mhm.
I guess like playing with your prey before you kind of
Yeah,
pounce on it. The killer in that movie basically, he make phone calls, he like would stalk them at school and stuff. Everything was basically leading up to prom night, where most of the individuals died. Um, and I think that was done so well, and that's what I kind of liked. And it kind of is what I also liked about the original Scream, because there
hmm
wasn't just like bodies everywhere, all these killings and everything. Ghostface like truly was like this like ghost that stalked them up until obviously Act 3 and the climax where most everyone died. Um, but
right.
I felt that it was so good. The chase scene, I believe her name was Wendy. Um, Kind of like the, I guess you would say she's the, she was the it girl,
Hey, girl,
Yeah,
yeah.
her chase scene. It's so funny because it's so long and so drawn out, but
I
it's
really
so
do.
good because like it still has you on the edge of your seat the entire time. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
But yeah, I think that was a great choice.
Yeah, it's that aspect, like you said, the stalker aspect, but the essence of just being creepy, um, and like knowing that there are people out there like that, like
Right.
this is not too far fetched. And the dance scene and prom on the dance floor, it made sense. Like
Yeah,
it,
right.
you can see that actually happening as opposed to Fear Street. It was like, what the hell are they doing? And it was like it was just really fun. Like it was moments of fun, moments of like, oh crap. And then yeah, like you said, the drawn out of the chase scenes. But that style back in that time, the 80s, the horror it's so different from now,
Yeah.
but you respect it and you looked at it and you're
Mhm.
like, we come a long way, but at the same time, like they were doing some great stuff with the little that they had to work with. So,
Right.
and making millions off of box office. So yeah, I really like Prom Night, and it was actually probably my first introduction to Jamie being the Scream Queen, and then came no, it was Halloween probably. Halloween first, then Prom Night.
Mhm.
This was like the second. I was like, oh, okay. Let me see what she did. Let me see what she's talking about.
Let me see what she about over here.
Right.
So what would you rate that movie?
I would honestly give it an A, just because of like the time, the music, the acting. uh what the simplicity of it all, like it's a very simple film, not too much to it, not too much over the top, but like just enough, like you said, to keep you on your edge of your seat and keep you engaged. So I would give it an A. And it's streaming right now. You can see it on Tubi for free, Prime. That's even on Redbox and Pluto TV. So you can always get the AMC Plus subscription because they have some of the best horror films on AMC Plus. FYI. But but what about you?
Yeah, I agree. Definitely I feel like that for its time, this is a phenomenal movie. It's a classic. I would still to this day, if somebody asked me, hey, let's watch like a really good, classic slasher film, this would probably be my top three to put
Oh
on and,
yeah.
watch with somebody.
Oh
Like you,
yeah.
like you said at the beginning, we've seen this movie tons of times, and we're
Hmm.
probably able to quote a lot of it. So
Right. Right.
but yeah, definitely a good choice, Danny.
Cool. Yes. And so what was your classic film?
So again, going along the same theme, my choice was Prom Night,
Uh,
2008. All right.
Nay. Okay. New
So
Millennial Prom Night.
released in 2008, Prom Night is the fifth and final installment of the Prom Night film series and served as basically a reboot, taking inspiration from the
Mhm.
original 1980 film that we just talked about. Although modeled
Yep.
after the original, it was drastically different in many ways. The film starred Brittany Snow as the main character. She played Donna. Scott Porter, Jessica Traup, Dana Davis, Idris Alba was in this movie. Jonathan Schick was in
Mhm.
this movie. And it was directed by Nelson McCormick and written by J.S. Cardone.
Mm.
So the plot basically dealt with a deranged high school teacher who was played by Schick, who obsesses over a student, Brittany Snow in the movie, and kills her entire family in an attempt to be with her. He is caught and sent to prison. Years later, he escapes and goes on a hunt to find Donna, who plays Brittany Snow, at her high school prom, basically killing whoever gets in the way. I really, 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 really enjoyed this movie. Um, the movie did not do too well. It was had a lot of negative reviews. It was criticized quite a bit, but I felt the movie did really good for what it was trying to do. It has that basically brought the prom night formula, to a new age, a new decade.
Yeah.
And I thought there were some good performances. Brittany Snow was great in there. Dana Davis, who played the best friend, Lisa. The chase scene in this movie was basically Lisa, and I was rooting for her
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you remember Danny. In Fear Street, Prom Queen, there was a part when Granger and her best friend was kind of running, and there was like this construction floor, and there was like plastic
Oh yeah.
everywhere and everything. That
Yeah.
basically was reminiscent of Prom Night when
Hmm.
Lisa was running in the hotel, and she went, I think, to like the bottom floor trying to escape the killer, and
Yeah.
there was all this plastic everywhere. She was hiding behind it and stuff like that. So I don't know if they did
Hmm.
that intentionally, but I was like, oh look, it's basically like maybe one of those Easter eggs. If they did do it intentionally, that's awesome.
Right.
And it was devastating that she didn't make it. Like that was probably, in a horror movie,
We were all rooting for you.
yeah, in a horror movie, you're like basically, especially when you get invested in certain characters, it's like, that much, sucks when they don't make it. And like,
Right.
her boyfriend, he was about to propose, he had the ring when they found the body, he was like devastated. But I really liked the movie. What did you think of it?
Yeah, so I enjoyed it as well, but I believe our tastes are pretty similar when it comes to horror. Um, we like to give things a try, and we like to we like to, experience. We like, okay, then we'll make our own judgment. But I thought overall it was good. It had a star cast, Brittany Snow's not Noah Spring Chicken. Of course, you got Idris Elba, Jonathan said like I met Jonathan. He's very outgoing and very personable person, and he's still showing that chest today. So I'm just like,
Yeah, I remember the first time I encountered him was That Thing You Do.
yes, the great film,
Yeah,
great film.
the
Um,
Oneaters.
I go
He's like, no,
to,
it's the Wonders.
it's the wonder, the own eaters. I can't. Yeah, it was but yeah, it was a good film. I enjoyed what it did. I've kind of put it in the same kind of category with like, the remake of The Haunting and House of Wax, like those type of remakes of classics that yeah, they didn't do quite well when it comes to the reviews and ratings, but they were still enjoyable as films and as a horror fan, you still enjoyed them because they were enjoyable films.
Right.
And I just feel like that's what this was as well. And um, this chase scene, yeah, was reminiscent, the very nostalgic moments in this film. And I just want to go. Well, Rotten Tomatoes. You know what Rotten Tomatoes got this movie?
What?
9%. That is one
That's
of the lowest
that's
I've
dis-
ever seen in my life.
that's disrespectful. That is so disrespectful.
That is crazy.
Honestly, like I don't like, and Dan, we were talking about this the other day. It's like that's why it's important for uh, horror fans, people that like horror movies or scary movies, whatever it may be, to watch movies for themselves, right? Because a lot
Right.
of times, in that review, for example, that's ridiculous. I thought the movie was good. I mean, even the plot was good because it's something that could
Yeah.
happen, right? It happens
Right.
all the time in the
Exactly.
world. And uh, even the dialogue, a lot of the actors, there were a lot of good, like you were saying, there's Idris Alba, Jonathan Sheck, Donna Snow, like Jessica Strout, who she was in the reboot of, was it 90210?
No, tuna. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and she was the main character on there. So, I mean, they all did a good job. And I felt that this is basically a good mention for a classic.
Yeah. No, I think it was great option. Great mention for a classic for sure. I feel like, like you said, it was a good cast and it was believable. And had its simplicity as well. Same,
Right.
in the same vein as the prom night. So yeah,
So,
I
I
was
mean,
like, forget them.
right. So, I mean, I would, I would rate it a B plus, and just
Yeah.
because it did have some issues, but overall, I thought it was a really good film. I've seen it multiple times, and it's if whoever wants to check it out, you can check it out on Prime Video or Apple TV.
Okay, come on, Apple TV. Good code. You know what? It is about that time for our honorable mention because there's a lot of great horror films coming out this year, and I feel like we need to talk about one that is coming up, a new release soon. What is that new release? Because I can't wait to talk about
Yeah, let's talk
it.
about it. Let's talk about it. So this particular new release is called Bring Her Back. All right.
Woo!
It's an upcoming Australian horror film directed by Danny and Michael Philippe, who also directed the 2022 supernatural horror film Talk to Me. Danny, I know you're a huge fan of that film, so I know you'll comment
Yes.
on it in a little bit. Bring Her Back will be released on Friday, May 29th. Uh, the plot focuses on a brother and a sister who uncover a terrifying ritual at a secluded home of their foster mother. So, what do you think about this movie?
Woo. I'm super excited to see it. I love A24. They have brought some amazing work. Talk to Me was I say arguably one of the best horror films in 2022. You got Heretic, they had Opus, Front Room, like so they just keep coming out with new ideas. Because it's easy to be repetitive in this category, in this genre.
Right.
So to have new ideas coming out and really just keeping you on the edge of your seat and being like creepy about it, because I think one of their specialties really is the paranormal, uh, the realm of horror.
Right.
So like once they tackle that, it's just like, and I don't know about you, but with me, that's the ones that really creeps me out because it's like you can't see it, but it's there, and it's not like a slasher that you're running away from. This this person like this thing can really throw you out of bed, this type of thing. You're like, what the hell just happened? So it's
Yeah.
like I really do enjoy their films, and I'm happy to see this film. I'm looking forward to it. I hope they deliver.
All right. How about we check out the trailer?
Let's do it.
Some people believe the spirit stays in the body for months after death. Oliver lost his family just like you guys.
Does he look like Andy?
He's a beautiful boy. Just needed someone that could give him special care.
You lock you in, Ollie?
He's an angel. It's a beautiful angel and does beautiful things. Did I do it right? We can bring her back.
Ooh, that trailer.
Man,
It does look.
after the
It
body
does look.
dies,
Yeah, it does look scary.
yes. They talking about after the body dies, the spirit stays a little longer. It's like what? Yeah, it's a creepy trailer. It's a creepy trailer.
Yeah, definitely creepy. I think that's a good word for it. Creepy for sure. And it
Yeah.
looks like it's definitely gonna have some scary moments, maybe some jump scares, maybe. So
Yeah, some jump scares. I love a good jump scare. Give it to me. Because I feel like it's hard, especially nowadays, it's hard for me to get me to jump,
yes,
So you gotta have an arson in your in
yes.
your backpack to
I
get me
agree. I'm the
to
same way. Like, it's been a
jump.
while since, I had, I experienced a good jump scare.
Yeah.
So,
So I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's go. A24. I'm super excited. And when does this film come out again?
so it's gonna be Friday, May 29th.
Hey, let's go. Super excited to see that one. Looking forward to it.
Same.
And as I said before, that the genre of horror, I love it, but then I also hate it too. It's like one of those things it's like getting cookies out of cookie jar. You know you shouldn't get it, but you still keep getting still keep coming back.
Gotta get those cookies.
You gotta get them cookies, okay?
Too fun.
Yeah. So what's your predictions? You think it's gonna be a good hit? You think they're gonna break even on their budget or what?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it looks there's a lot of potential, right? It looks like it's definitely going to be good. I guess it would just depend on because there's not a lot known about the plot. Just the basis, brother and sister, the
Yeah.
foster mother's trying some type of ritual. Looks like to bring an individual back from the
Yeah.
dead or something like that. So it's giving a lot of Pet Cemetery vibes.
Don't
Um,
mess with
right. Don't mess with that. So
it.
I feel like that, in these type of movies, people always things always go wrong. So,
Right.
I'm
Always.
just expecting like things to just go left immediately and just things
Yeah.
to get creepier and creepier. What about you?
Same. I feel like things are gonna get out of hand, gonna go left. Um, but I'm just like, how bad? You know what I mean? I just
Right.
want to, I just want to see how bad. So we do have, they're not like crazy known actors, but Sally Hawkins, is in there. And she plays, the mother, and we know her from The Shape of Water, um,
Right.
and Paddington. She's did some voiceover. So, and then I think the little boy was in something as well, recently. But like I said, they're not like really known actors. So I love how A24 gives pretty much in all their films these quote unquote we call no name actors opportunities to shine and and be in their element of horror. I love that they do that as a production company. So I'm excited. Let's go Australia.
Right. Exactly.
So we got and we're about to wrap things up on this episode, but I believe we got some questions because we always like to test, make sure our knowledge is clean and crisp. We are your favorite scare experts. So we got one question for each other. I'll go first.
Okay.
And I'm gonna stay on the theme of today. So we're gonna talk about the Scream Queen, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Miss
And
Jamie
my
Lee.
question is, Miss Jamie, if you're nasty. Um, so my question to you, Polly, is multiple choice.
We want
What?
our viewers to play along. All right.
Yes, y'all play along, please. What body part did Jamie Lee Curtis insure? All right. Was it her hands? A. Was it B, her vocal cords, her scream? Or was it C, her legs? What part did Jamie
Oh man,
insure?
this is
You
a
guys
this,
think,
this is a
if
tough
you
one.
guys know it, shout it out.
All right. All right. I'm gonna work my way through this one.
Okay.
So I definitely don't think it's hands. So I'm gonna eliminate A right now. So
Okay.
that leaves her vocal cords slash scream or legs. See, I immediately want to go with legs
Uh-huh.
because I mean, if anyone's seen Jamie Lee Curtis's legs, you know why. Like,
Right.
Um,
Maybe they banging.
uh, but then I guess it would depend on when she did it because you know, what I mean, she's a scream queen, so I feel like she'd want to ensure her vocal cords or her voice. But then that may not. Uh, ah, okay. Staying with the whole genre of today and the theme and everything, I'm gonna go with vocal cords. Final answer.
I'm sorry. You have to come back next time.
No.
No,
Why?
yes, I am sorry, but it was see her legs.
Oh dang! I knew I should have went with legs.
Yeah, she has her legs insured for $2 million.
Woo.
And honestly, I didn't really pay attention to her legs until the film. What was the film?
True
Arnold
lies.
Schwarzenegger, True Lies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but she did that
that's when we
striptease for
all got to
Arnold.
reveal. Yeah, right. Get a little strip tease. Um,
That's crazy.
and, and as I was actually, when I was researching the question and stuff, she was on like Jay Leno, like legs just up on his desk, barefoot. Like her legs was a really big thing, I guess.
Mhm.
I was just too small or little to like understand that. But yeah,
Yeah.
she's got some great legs, great
I mean, yeah,
thighs.
I remember watching that movie and like, cause she was basically in a bra and panties,
Right,
and and I think she had on high heels too, and like you can definitely
right,
see she
yeah.
had some long legs, kind of like
Stacy Keibler.
Stacy Keebler. Yeah, I was just gonna say
Yeah.
Stacy Keebler. I wonder if she have
Legs.
her legs insured.
Her legs better be insured because Stacey got some amazing legs.
She's got legs.
Like, oh,
That
he
was the theme
knows
song.
how to
You,
use them.
good
All
old
right.
Stacy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. All right. Well, do you know what year she had them insured?
I don't know a year,
Okay.
but
That's interesting. I mean, it's probably early on,
yeah, it's gotta be
probably in
because,
the 80s.
I mean, I'm sure her legs are still great, but they're obviously not the same caliber they were
Right. They're not they're not
20 years ago.
peak 1980 legs.
Right. Oh, it was mid 90s, in the mid
Okay.
90s.
Yeah.
She actually did a campaign, a pantyhose campaign. That's when she got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's when she knew she had gold.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think what was True Lies 1992?
True True Lies was definitely in the 90s. I just
Yep,
94,
yep,
93,
94. It
94.
was 94.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it was definitely 93. Yeah, 94. I was gonna say I know I was young as hell, but yeah, that was a great movie as well.
Yeah, it was actually. All right, good question. Good question. All right. My question now.
Alrighty.
Get ready and get ready. All right. Ready? Let's
Yes.
do it. Okay. Despite negative reviews and subpar box office sales, Prom Night 2008 still made more than its budget. Prom Night's budget was $20 million. How much did it make in box office sales? A, 33 million, B, 47 million, or C, 57 million.
The budget was 20 million.
The budget was 20 million.
Ooh. I bet you about five of that went to Idris. Um,
I don't
um,
even know if Idris was that big when this came out because I think he blew up right after that.
right, he probably wasn't. He was probably big in the UK, but not over here yet.
Yeah.
Um, let me see. Yeah, I really want to say 30. What was that? 37?
A33.
33. I really want to say 33 because I'm like, oh, I don't think they made, but that's only, I want to say they broke even. I want to say that. But then I'm like, it's probably something drastically different on the other side of things. Like 50, you said 57?
33 million, 47 million, and
47
57.
million, 57 million. Yeah. It's probably just something outrageous. I'll go with 57 million. Final answer.
Okay. So you're saying C, final answer.
C.
I'm so sorry. But you're correct.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. So they made 57 million, which is what? 37? Yep.
30
37 million
over
over their budget.
budget.
Yep.
That is insane. I knew it was like it's got to be something just outrageous because it's like how. But that goes to show you that ratings sometimes don't know.
Yeah. Like those review critics and stuff, like, sometimes they just don't know because they're obviously people enjoyed the movie, or at
People
least
enjoyed
enough
the
people went to
movie.
see it.
Enough people went to see it, right? I mean that's a good return. I
Mhm.
mean,
For a
but
movie that
wow,
had so many negative reviews, definitely.
yeah, for someone, yeah, and to be a remake,
Mhm.
so you already have that like comparison going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was they definitely came out to go see that. That was a good question.
Yeah. So see viewers, go out and check it out because, clearly it was a good movie.
Clearly,
Check it out.
2008.
Prom Night 2008.
We'll never top the original, but it's
That's
it's
true.
it's good. It's definitely worth a view.
I mean, none of them did. I mean, once it turned to supernatural with Mary Lou and
Oh yeah, Mary Lou.
and then what was the fourth one was
That was like the
about
sequel, yeah.
the fourth one was
What?
about just like I don't even know, like a reverend killer or something like that,
Oh
just a
my
religious
God,
nut.
yeah. You know, like why does I don't know what we'll get into it, I guess, on another episode as well. But it's like why does sometimes the horror films they get so and I love a good campy, crazy, funny horror film, but sometimes they just like throw it in the dirt and just
Yeah,
keep driving it down and down. And like before you know it, Night of the Demons becomes like a a hell fest at a circus, and they just and Angela's swinging in the it's like what's going on? I don't get it.
yeah, sometimes they just go too far and they just make it like something that it wasn't meant to be that
It
just made it
wasn't at
worse.
all.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
at all. Like at all.
Oh man. Well, that wraps up today's scare zone. If you haven't checked out Fear Street Prom Night, honestly, you're not missing much. So I mean, if you're one of those people that like want to check it out because you've seen every other film in the franchise, then definitely check it out. But just letting you know that you may be disappointed.
Maybe highly.
You have any last words, Danny?
You pretty much said it. It's just one of those films. But just go ahead and sit down if you wanted to, you know, risk watching it.
Right. Like we said, it definitely sits at the bottom of the film
And I'm
studio
glad
list.
that this was the last installment that I saw of Fear Street because if I saw it before any of the other ones, I don't know if I would have continued
Yeah,
watching any
right. It
of
might have
them.
definitely might have steered me away. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely, man. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us and going beyond the scare with us. Danny, tell everyone where they can find you.
Yes, thank you for joining us. We always enjoy having you and talking about all things horror. You can find me everywhere at I am Danny Royce.
You guys can find me at Alpha Boy with an I1. So we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us again. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on YouTube. And join us next time to talk all things scary.
Hey, see you next time.
Bye, guys.